And today with health, as you were defining health and the adaptability factor, you have to be a specialist.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where you fit in. Now, we're also saying to people, we're not saying go against your oncologist. We're not telling people if they've got a critical injury not to see a neurosurgeon, but related to the alternative measures that have healing benefits and can maximize and optimize your body against toxicities, deficiencies, infections, inflammation, and different disease processes, even viruses that they're finding now that are attached to cancer. You need a custom formatted program for yourself. And that's the beauty of the blood work.
100%.
Okay.
And the rest of the labs. Don't forget the other labs.
I know, honey. The other labs kind of sticky, aren't they?
So they are, but I think definitely so, because I believe that I'm working with some of the best doctors locally. They are experts. They are wonderful. But what I'm finding is everything is so compartmentalized. Every doctor has to stay in their lane, and nobody can veer outside of that in the traditional medicine route to look at all of the whole process that's happening in the body. And something inside of me through my experience is, well, that's good. I'm glad to know that lane and I'm glad to understand it. But I believe that God has made us whole for a reason, like our whole body. Everything has to be looked at, mind, body, and spirit. There is a lot more going on. And without knowing the root cause, without also helping with the spiritual cause. You gave me a book to read early on in the process that dealt with the emotional roots of cancer. I mean, without tackling all of these, the road of transformation, people are just going to get bulldozed into a system, and they're not going to discover the beauty of getting on the other side of the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have 5 minutes left on this podcast. Yeah. Spend some time with a valuable takeaway, and we're going to shoot another podcast.
Yeah.
And I want to hear different things: autonomic nervous system, Aura Ring, private label supplementation, all those different things on the next podcast. But for now, what would be the valuable takeaway for someone who is shocked by a cancer diagnosis or who's bewildered from chronic pain? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I think, the Bible says this. It says, hope deferred makes the heart grow cold. And the first thing that hopefully people watching this and listening to this would kind of glean is that no matter what's gone on, no matter how maybe bleak it is, no matter how many things you've tried, there is hope. Like, that's the number one thing is there's hope. Then from there, it is a process of engagement that, I think one of the takeaways is begin functional medicine testing. Simply begin. Right. Begin with some legitimate labs. Our office can work with you no matter where you're at, or you can seek out, help to find a great functional medicine practitioner. So, we've got to get data, right? And I'm a big faith guy. Like I just love God. I know He loves me, and I know He's got great plans for my life. And yet there's also the data side.
Right.
That we absolutely need. I had a client this morning, just to give you an example, had 5 major deficiencies. The primary reason for consulting us was out of control diabetes. Just like when I say out of control, I mean out of control after, a long time of medical care. But he was never going to get anywhere without the discovery of the deficiencies and the addressing of the deficiencies. It's really emotional to talk about it, because this was a guy literally almost to the point of not being able to function. And after years of, we'll call it care, no one ever discovered that he had 5 major deficiencies that made it impossible for his body to regulate his blood sugar. And so, I would just encourage people, number one, there is hope. And then number two is it's just a matter of just beginning to take action and on the things that God is prompting you on, right? And just listen to what God is prompting you on, like courageously, would be my advice to people.